You are listening to the Horse Radio Network, part of the Equine Network family.
Greetings, everyone. Coach Jen here, and thanks for tuning in to Horse Tip Daily, episode 1539. This time, Dr. Wendy Ying and Glenn the Geek talk about some proactive ways you can help your horse or dog stay young. And we'll get right to it after we hear from our sponsor, My New Horse.
For first-time horse owners and new riders, finding the information and support you need can be challenging. That's why Equine Network has partnered with Sentinel and Absorbine to bring you My New Horse. From important horsekeeping information and how-to videos to social media communities, exclusive experiences, and more, My New Horse is your one-stop shop for riders of all levels and disciplines looking for easy-to-understand horse care information and guidance. Start your horse ownership journey today. Visit mynewhorse.com.
And Wendy, what are we talking about today in the traditional Chinese medicine segment?
Okay, so today we're talking about some little things you can do now with your young horse or your young dog that when they're old, they will thank you for, right? Well, you know, like when you get old, you think back and say, oh, I just wish I did this, or I wish I jogged, or I wish I, you know. So your horses and your dogs think that too, right? Or you look at your dog and you say, oh my God, my dog has been like an obese couch potato his whole life. And I wish I didn't keep him like that. But we're pretty good as horse people, keeping our horses fit, and we worry about them. We take care of their feet and their joints. But come on, let's all admit, farm dogs, we are so bad about cutting dogs' toenails. Right? Glenn, were you a good toenail cutter?
No, Jennifer's the toenail cutter. But she's good about it.
Jennifer's a medal, so I'm sure Jennifer's on a schedule. But for all of us that are non-medals, come on, how many times, like if you look down at your horse, or we all have that friend that has a donkey and their feet are horrible and we're judging them. We're horse people. We can't help it. Okay. But you know what? Dog people are probably looking at our dogs thinking the exact same thing. Like those agility dog people are like, oh my God, can you believe those dogs' toenails?
And look how fat those dogs are.
I know, exactly. So we should think about it like that. But really, you know, for our dogs, arthritis is the number one issue of our geriatric dogs, right? And when they have long toenails, it puts a lot of stress on their tendons in their feet and their limbs, just like with our horses. So keeping your dog's toenails trimmed on a regular schedule is really important for their long-term health and wellness. And if you're not going to do your dog's toenails, like, look, I have Jack Russells, okay? They bite me every time I do their toenails.
And you're a veterinarian.
Yeah, and they don't feel bad about it. I mean, I even bred the dog I have now. She bites me every single time. So what I do now is, it took me long enough, but I just take her down to the groomers. I let the groomers cut her toenails.
Yeah, because they have that harness thingy.
And in the grand scheme of things, it's pretty cheap, right? Because think of how many toenails your dog has, and the groomers charge you like, what, $20?
Yeah.
Right? Your farrier charged you $40 for 4 toenails.
So the length of, if they're with long toenails all the time, you're saying it can affect the joints.
It hurts their joints. Yeah, it'd be like walking in like ill-fitting shoes your entire life.
Interesting. I never thought about it that way. Same thing with horses, obviously, but we're all aware of our horses' long feet. We make sure that doesn't happen. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You never skip. My horses are retired and sit around and just eat. And my farrier comes every 5 weeks.
But
I would never skip that.
We forget our dogs.
Yeah. And another thing with horses, what we, you know, when we're riding them or driving them, we like, if their gait is like, if there's any change to the gait or they're not symmetrical, we like freak out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, oh my God, I got to work this up. And horses, like if they have one little, like, they're like the princess and the pea, right? If they're hurting, you know. Dogs hide that. Dogs hide their pain from us. So when you see your dog limping, I mean, they have a serious issue. So, but sometimes we see our dogs limping and we're like, yeah, he's got a little hitch in his giddy up, because we don't ride them. Right. And they are like, unless we're showing them or doing sport with them, they just like have to be sound enough to go sleep on the couch. But that an asymmetric gait is the first sign that your dog's having some issues, and you can fix those issues earlier. Like the earlier you treat arthritis, the easier it is to resolve. So a lot of dogs, when they are starting to have the beginnings of arthritis or feeling some aches and pains, will actually, instead of trotting they'll pace. Right. So if you had a horse that started pacing, oh my God, first of all, you get thrown out of the dressage ring and you'd be really freaked out about it. But I see this all the time. I see a lot of dogs pacing when the people are walking. Sometimes it can be as easy as like they're not walking at a certain speed, and that can throw off their gait. But that's a time when you should look into to see if they have some arthritis. And if they do have some arthritis, then like our joint supplements, we call them chondroprotectives. They protect the joint surface. So it's good to start them, horses and dogs, on chondroprotectives when they're young and they still have healthy cartilage, because the joint supplements like oral joint supplements and or injectable like Adequan, those will save your joints. It extends the life length of the joints, right? It protects the cartilage. But once their cartilage is already damaged, joint supplements may relieve a little bit of pain, but they can't really regrow the cartilage. And so those are some really easy tips that you can do for your doggy and horse at home. And I'll cover some more tips in the next segment.
Well, there you have it. Horse Radio Network has thousands of engaging podcasts for horse people, and you can have them sent right to your phone. Just subscribe via your favorite podcast player. This is Coach Jen, and I will be back again soon with another tip. Until then, go ride your horse. The Horse Radio Network and the Horse Radio Network hosts are not responsible for statements made by guests on the Horse Tip Daily. Please use your own judgment when listening to the tips on this show.